Bullying has for a long time been considered a normal part of childhood, with a section of society viewing it as a part of growing up for kids. Societal attitudes like this have perpetuated bullying behavior, creating norms that it is tolerable in schools and communities. However, looking at the negative impact that bullying can cause to a child's education makes it imperative that concerted efforts be made to tackle this vice, especially in educational environments. The recent viral video from Leeds British College, Abuja, showing a student who was being bullied by her classmate is one example of what some students pass through in academic facilities. Findings have also shown that most victims of bullying fail to report the incidents, while in some cases school authorities fail to take appropriate sanctions against the bullies. How can society tackle the problem of bullying in academic environment? This is the focus of our discussion tonight on Nigeria Today. Thanks for joining us. I am Eucharia Clinton. Welcome. Now, joining me in the studio to discuss tackling bullying in schools is an educationist, and of course, she is also the former chairperson, National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, FCT, Mrs. Olushola Bankole. You're welcome to Nigeria.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here again. Thank you.
Now, just like in the introduction, quite a lot of people kind of see bullying as a normal thing that one would experience while you're in school. You know, some see it as a part of growing up, you know, for kids. Now, tell us, how big of an issue is bullying in our schools, like the primary and the secondary schools?
Anyway, you know, when the subject matter comes up each time, I try to check within myself, okay, so what experience did I have? I don't think I was ever bullied. Anyway, I never went to a boarding school, and I realized that it seemed to be more frequently happening in boarding schools than in day schools. And we could only, definitely, whether in boarding school or in day school, the truth is it's not palatable. It's not supposed to be. It doesn't augur well, even for the society. We saw what this viral video had done to the psyche of a lot of parents. In fact, on a platform that I belong, some people were expressing that they were weeping, watching the video and all of that. But generally, when I look at vices, social vices like this, it tells about the situation of the society. So we need to keep going back to the drawing board, the family values, the societal values. What have we been building in our homes? What have we been cooking? On the long run, we'll get to eat it when we see what happens in the society. It's not acceptable, and if we are consistent about fighting it and ensuring it doesn't continue, we can actually get it out of our system, or at least to the barest minimum, that it doesn't occur and reoccur again and again.
Thank you very much. We are being joined at the studio by the Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Sununu. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Now, Honorable Minister, we understand that the Ministry of Education is currently investigating, you know, the bullying incident that went viral, of course, the one that happened in the Leeds British School. Now, what is the implication of this?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me to this very important program. Yes, the implication is so significant that nobody will allow it just to pass like that. Bullying is a serious issue, and it's also a global issue. And that's why globally there is a Safe School Declaration, which means that it has attracted a lot of global attention, not only because of insurgency that we say and banditry kidnap, no, even within the school bullying itself. And in order to go with global intention, Nigeria became signatory to Safe School Declaration. And also in Nigeria, the Federal Ministry of Education, considering the issue of safe school in our society, also developed a minimum standard for safe school, which was released for utilization by general public in 2020. And then we have also gone a lot of ways to see how we can create consciousness and awareness. Now, if you are looking at bullying for on its sake, it has a lot of consequences to the victim, most especially. When one is bullied in school, the first thing it can lead to immediate isolation of schools, creating fear, and then the ability to mingle with other students is also reduced to significance distance. And if not controlled, gradually a child can move towards depression. And that's why we are taking this so serious. And the consequences of it is also increases, because there is fear in the school environment, may lead to a lot of dropout and further worsen the statistics of out-of-school children in Nigeria. And therefore, we consider that as serious. Not only that, even to the bullying can also be as perpetrated by single student against a student, but it can also be done as a form of a group bullying. Like just what we have seen there is a group of 5 students that tried to malhandle their colleague, and that has really caused so much a significant setback to our life, and that's why even in our term of references to address the happening, we include provision of psychological support to be part of the terms of reference of our committee, so that they can put it as a factor to ensure that there is a very good foundation for her to have psychological support, so that she can benefit from psychotherapy, because our morale will surely be down. Okay. Most especially now that it has been so much exposed with in the field of social media. So she needs to be given that support. Okay,
thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I will still come back to you to know the consequences for the schools, so that we know how to check these vices. Now, Olushola, tell us, as an educationist, for some of the bully problems you've seen, what would you say are some of the push factors why persons or students are being bullied?
Somehow, I keep going back to the family. And we cannot overemphasize that. It depends on the values that each family uphold. If the family do not care, maybe parents are so overwhelmed with, okay, let's go look for money. It doesn't matter what happens to the children as long as we provide, money. Whereas that is not what makes for good upbringing of children. I mean, husband and wife came together, brought these children to life, and it's important that other things that will make them succeed in life, emotionally, psychologically, academically, in terms of even the love provided, the environment they provide for the children needs to be put into consideration. And we need to begin to, parents, some years back, we had in NAPSEP City, we had a parents' conference, and it gave opportunity for parents to get to understand. So many people are parenting and are not doing it right these days. Some feel that what it takes to take care of a child is to provide money, send them to school, and that's all. Whereas, how about teaching them values of concern for other people, not being selfish, being considerate of others? Because you see, from the videos that was going around, you'll be sure that some of those students are, if they think about what their parents will say or what is the values of their family, there are some of those actions they won't put into play. The girl, of course, in the video that came out when she was saying she regretted what she did, you could see that, it's because she didn't think through. And then it wasn't ingrained in our system that, oh, this is, one of them was slapping forth and back. You see a girl, and that girl too, who was being bullied, also the Honorable, Minister of State mentioned, also need help. it also shows that possibly she doesn't know her rights. And I'm not an advocate for her to fight back. But there is a way she would have responded for them to know, no. And then there were also bystanders. And then when we have policies in school, I've advocated over the years that it's important that these policies are alive. Okay. We don't just, which is part of the problem generally in our society. We have beautiful policies only on paper. How about the implementation?
Okay, we'll come back to that. Now, Honorable Minister of State, now, she talked about the policy. Now, that brings me to my next question. What is the role of child protection policies in the midst of bullying? Where does it really apply?
Well, you see, it applies seriously if you look at what is the status of education. Education is a human rights issue. Each and every child is entitled to access quality education that will make him to be someone in his life. So that is it's a fundamental human rights issue, and therefore it carries a lot of status and weight. And if we allowed it, it has a serious negative implications. Well, just to further say that what we also came to understand apart from what he has mentioned, actually, mentor and mentee relationship right now in educational institution, from the kindergarten to tertiary level, is almost getting back to zero level. You have teachers who don't have freedom or who don't allow the student to have access to confide in them. She had mentioned that their child, at least if you look at sorry to say, there were two videos. There was video of the current one, and there was one that was that dated earlier before that one. And in our terms of reference, we said that both two incidents must be investigated. And the question is, what was the reason that the student cannot come and confide in lectures and to the teachers that this person is terrorizing me? Please do something. So it means there's also decrease in terms of bonding relationship between teacher-student relationship that we used to know before, when everyone will see you receive fatherly treatment, fatherly affection from your teacher. And that is also not there now. So by and large, the consequences are so numerous. It can be to the school itself, to the child, and also to the bullier himself, because such kind of children are likely to be dropped out because of their habitual bullying of others. They are also likely to be associated with gangs that are perpetrating school biases. Otherwise, you cannot just come together as a group if you don't have common interest to start maltreating or malhandling one person. And then, if care is not taken without care and proper guidance and counseling to even the person that is bullying the other person, is likely to graduate either from being dropped out, or after his secondary school education to join a gang that will now be a serious miscreant and end up as a drug addict, armed robbers, and many others, because it's the foundation. The foundation is like this. Then for the person, I've mentioned most of the consequences. In fact, it can even lead to death. Some may develop suicide because of the kind of maltreatment they have received, or because of the action of during bullying them. They can be strangulated. They can be beaten to such extent that they can even lose their life. And for the school, that will create a serious image problems.
Thank you.
And we are coming to that.
Okay, I'm coming to that. But the issue of the school now, Olushola, when children report cases of bullying, to their parents, most times you hear, "Why would your classmate beat you?" You understand? Some of them will say, are you that weak that your mate will beat you, and you come back to tell me you're not even ashamed? So what should be the right response?
Back to basics. Parenting.
Okay.
You see, it's parenting is not just about, I give birth to a child, okay, don't do this, do this, do this. It's parenting requires some serious training now. It needs to be structured. There needs to be you know, boundaries set. There needs to be, of course, instructions given to the children. But at the family level, there is need for, you know, what are the values? Okay, if an incident happen, okay, when you come, I'll listen to you. Be free to express yourself. And when the children come, express them. Okay, so can we look at it? What led to it? And, you know, those kind of systematic way of handling issues with young people, children, teenagers, and all that do not seem to come naturally to a lot of people nowadays. That's why, you know, it is important that we encourage parents to also, possibly maybe even at the national level, to include public school parents, to parents of public school children, that there should be, you know, maybe some programs, maybe on TV, that could deal with parenting skills being given to parents. So, you know, being able to bring forth a child and just saying, don't do this, do that, doesn't work. Particularly even with the generation, the Gen Z we call them nowadays. They want to test boundaries. They want to, okay, you say I shouldn't go here. I want to check whether, okay, when I do that a little, you will do anything. So there are skills, there are structures that parents need to put in place to ensure that that is not, I mean, whatever level, whether for the bullied or for the bully, that everybody knows their boundaries. There are places you don't go beyond. If you are being bullied, you know what to do. You know how to report. You know, like he mentioned, you know, the issue of being able to also provide emotional support. But you see, the thing is, again, is we need to be careful. You know, there are also cases where we need teachers to not also go overboard, because you wouldn't know what the parent is going to do. Oh, my child reported that you went too far. You are asking about the family. Please don't come in. That's not your business, and things like that.
For situations where, like the minister earlier raised, that some of the children, they are kind of even, will I say, skeptical or afraid to approach the teachers to report some of these cases. Like he rightly said, there were 2 videos. One had happened earlier, you know, and another one happened most recently. So I want to assume that probably the student in question did not report. I just want to believe he did not report, you know, for this to happen again, because if she had reported, I don't know. Why are they because I believe if she reported.
You see, that's why I also talk about policies. Policies is not just to say, and the same thing with parenting. Don't just tell children, particularly today's children, don't touch this. Don't touch this, do this. You know, they don't work that way. We need to give explanations surrounding whatever they are to do or not to do. Why? Because circumstances could come that they did not plan for. For instance, it's possible that bullied girl was taught that you don't fight back.
Okay. Okay, I'll stop you right there and come to the Honorable Minister. So tell us more about the investigation of this school. What will happen next? And of course, what are the measures in place to ensure that these kinds of things don't happen again? What are the consequences for the schools?
Let me tell you, if you tell me, if you say I should tell you the investigation, I cannot set a committee and preempt the committee. No. They've just started, commenced their activities, so I cannot preempt their findings. And then I can also wait until recommendation comes in. But if you ask me, as a ministry, we have policy that has to do with teachers, that has to do with students, and that also have to do with institutions when such circumstances arises. For example, when there is bullying, it depends. We now look at the gravity. One may be just say, okay, today after closing hours, we are going to give you a minimum labor. You have to clear this environment from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. That's a bit of a way of addressing bullying. If the gravity increases, or the gravity is beyond that simple label, the guideline says, okay, you lead to suspension of 2 or 3 days. You understand? And then you invite the parent to sit with a school authority to discuss it. Now, based on gravity, you can also suspend for up to 2 weeks. And then you can also give an indefinite suspension that can lead to expulsion, depending on the gravity of the level of intention or the bullying that has been done. So you understand? So it's now, certain things may be left at the discretion of the school authority itself. And then at times when it becomes so obvious that the human right is completely violated, as it happened now, the Federal Ministry of Education has to come in, because we provide policy and guidelines on how students should be treated. And we cannot just watch like that and then see a situation whereby that can instill fears on the other student and we remain silent. Now, when it happens like just what we did now, it's for us now to allow, to set up a committee which will follow the due process of engaging with school authority to see what provision do they have as enshrined in our guideline that will prevent or detect early sign of bullying in school. If it's not there, if they are found wanting. Now, if it is there, were there other guidelines set in approaching the authority for you to lay a complaint? For example, even if you cannot talk to anybody, there should be an anonymous box in the school where a child can say, "Sir, I am being threatened. I need your help." Can mention her name there. She didn't mention the distance. The school authority can now call the particular person who is threatening you. What happened? Can you explain? And then the school authority, the teachers must also have the training to detect early signs, what we call subtle signs of bullying. A child that always comes to class is afraid, is isolated, is staying in the back seat, hardly distant. A competent and responsible teacher needs to ask him, "Please, what is your problem?
Okay.
I'm your teacher. Can you confide in me? Tell me. I will not tell anybody, but I'll get you protected."
Okay.
So all the things. So, and then based on the findings, these are all technocrats in the field of education. They also took part in the development of the guidelines. So based on that, they will come forward with recommendation. And it's now this recommendation that the ministry at top management level will consider and then come up with the sanction that is appropriate for what happened.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Lushola, in your opinion, this should be maybe your closing thought. What do you think, what are the measures you think should be in place to check bullying in schools?
You know, we'll need to keep, don't let us keep, because I want to believe that school has maybe very strong policies concerning against bullying. I think we need to, like we practice something in my school, there is policy day every term, where we address maybe a part of the policy in the school. The children, maybe some of the student leaders would have studied it again, and then they present it to the others. Okay, so we all agree, this is it, this is it. We have sessions for teachers, we have sessions for parents as well. So there is need to constantly, you know, sometimes people forget, you know, remind the student body and all of that. And then there is a part that we have not been looking at, the bystanders. The girl doesn't look timid to me from the videos I saw. She just is she feels restrained that, okay, I don't want to cause issues here, particularly because there are other students. It seems also like it's a student that was doing the video coverage. One, that is, anyway, I wouldn't know what the policy of that school is concerning use of phones. What's a student doing with phone in school? And, you know, the damaging effect of some of this usage of phone. It may be because, teenagers nowadays just want to, capture it and spread it in the school. Even if the student wasn't beaten, that spread of that, sin is enough, trauma for the student. So it is important that we keep revisiting, reminding students, teachers, and parents of what is our role as individuals, as stakeholders in the education system, whether it's on bullying, safeguarding generally, safety in the school environment. The Honorable Minister of State was talking about safe school. So, whatever, is involved in ensuring that everybody is safe and healthy. Okay. It's important that we keep reminding ourselves.
Thank you very much. Now, Honorable Minister, I want you to give us your final thoughts on this issue of bullying.
Well, my final thought is that it has to do with parents themselves, the schools, and also the students. On the parents, just like what the principal says, it's always right for them to have a proper upbringing and to tell the children what will bring shape to themselves and also to the family, and continue to hammer on it, and then be monitoring in from that side. I'm not saying, but you may be shocked that why is it not noticed by the school, by the parent, until when it was in social media? Probably the circumstances that resulted to the bullying and the bullied person may not be something that needed to be known to the public, because it may attract some biases or any other reason. I'm not saying that is the reason. But when you have such tendency, it's unlikely that it will be a reason. So many bullying have been going, that it's on increase, but it's only very few are reported like this one that is reported. And then for school authority, definitely they must lay their hand, which have circulated on the guidelines, and ensure that, strictly speaking, these are narrated to the parent during Parent-Teachers Association meeting.
Thank you very much.
Or in school-based management committees meetings.
Thank you very much. Well, this is where we'll wrap it up for today's episode of Nigeria Today. Very big thank you to the Honorable Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Sununu. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
And also Mr. Lushola Bankole, former chairman, National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, FCT, and also an educationist. Thank you so much for your time and your contribution.
It's a pleasure.
And thank you for being part of the program. Don't forget, Nigeria Today airs weekdays at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also watch these and other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. I am your carrier, Clinton. Goodbye.